Russia, as is China. They've infiltrated universities. You know, the famous Yuri Bezmenov speech from 1984, which is crazy when you hear it today because he called it. He knew it was going to happen, and it's happening, and it's happening from college campuses outward. So the most radical of these ideologies are being promoted on colleges because the kids are the youngest. They don't have jobs and real world experience. They're young. They have ideologies.
Right.
They're a little bit unrealistic, and they're all captured by this status game that's going on campus, where you're trying to be the most radical. Like, oh, he's so radically pro-Palestine. He's so hot, you know. And
So Joe Rogan sits down with Tulsi Gabbard, and they talk about companies collecting our data, and they're also taking shots at the college institutions and how they're pushing them towards liberalism. You know, this is something that we cover in our Tim Pool video, talking about how Donald Trump said that if you want your citizenship, graduate from college. Now, I pointed out that college institutions are not necessarily for the people. They're not for Americans. They're not for American ideologies. And it seems like this might be counterproductive for what we're pushing for. And the same goes for Turning Point, saying that college is a scam. And now Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard are both seeming to agree that what's happening in our college institutions with our data collection, it's all been infiltrated from, they're saying, Russia and China. Let's keep watching.
And then that really becomes a thing. You become virtuous, and you become attractive. You become interesting without actually being interesting, just because you have this rabid adherence to an ideology that's right now it's in vogue. And that's really what it is. And I think a lot of that is funded by foreign governments. And there's a lot of evidence that points to it, and we should consider it as a possibility, and don't dismiss it as a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Consider it as a possibility. And so this is the question about things like TikTok, like and Twitter and all of them, because I guarantee you it's not just foreign countries' kids. I guarantee you there are people in this country that are using it.
Yes.
I know businesses do it.
Yes.
I guarantee you people do it to try to influence the way people think about things. And when you see posts, I've seen posts multiple times saying outrageous things, and I'll just, okay, let me click on this guy. And it's usually some letters and a numbers and a name maybe and a bunch of numbers. And then I click and I realize, oh, fake person.
Yep.
Just go through all this
Zero
stuff.
posts.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's all just retweeting inflammatory stuff, and it's nutty, fucking crazy politic takes and like really aggressive takes on things. And like, wow, how many of them are there?
Yeah. There's no question that this is happening, and the social media algorithms are feeding it and playing right into it, and in our attention and our minds are the commodity.
100%. And if they can just trick you into buying some stuff along the way, that'd be
Exactly.
great.
Exactly.
Who would have ever thought that your data would be so valuable?
Yeah.
That's the thing about when like you and I were younger, it meant nothing. Your data meant nothing. Like nobody, what are you talking about? My data.
Exactly.
Like,
You know, it's a valid point. Nobody would have thought that data would have been worth so much. But then you see how these algorithms are so fine-tuned. I mean, comment down below the last thing you said that your phone picked up on, and then you see ads. It's just ads. You know, I think for me, it's like a record player. I want to get back into, you know, the old style records and a record player. I'm looking at some, and it's just record player everywhere I go. This is why it's so valuable, not just for the consumer. That's a huge part of it. Not just for the consumer, but then also for the intelligence agencies, because they want to know what you're up to. What are you doing? What are you looking at? Why do you think this is interesting? Is this something that's alarming? I mean, with the Patriot Act, with how things went down, you know, post 9/11, George Bush, neocon, Republicanism, like this stuff is, your privacy is so valuable, and it's being exploited.
These are about my data.
Right.
What is that?
Why would anybody be interested in that?
I remember my first inclination that data meant something was I bought Dianetics. I bought that book in like 1994 when I first moved to Hollywood. And Scientology never stopped sending me things. They
like,
never
we
stopped.
got one.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
And then they get you to join. I guess you have to give them a piece, give them a taste of what you're doing. You join the group. Yeah, and so data now is responsible for the largest corporations in terms of like the amount of money.
Yeah.
Like think about Apple, how big Apple is and how much data Apple has. And Apple's better with data than Android systems are, and Google's terrible with it.
Yeah.
Like with their, it's just like they're just siphoning up your data.
Yeah. And that's the fallacy, and that's kind of the falsehood of the argument for people who are pushing that TikTok ban bill. Is if they're claiming they're concerned about data security and privacy and making sure that our data is protected, you got to do it across the board.
Yes.
Because every single one of these social media or big tech companies is collecting as much as they possibly can. And if you think they're not selling it to the highest bidder, whether they be an American company or a foreign company, of course they are. This is their business model. Wasn't
there some controversy about one of the DNA companies, whether it's Ancestry or one of the other ones?
There was.
Where they sold their data to China.
I think so.
Which is
I don't remember which one.
You sold everybody's genes?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have signed up for that.
Yeah.
You could sell my genes to China. Like if China was like offering free DNA tests.
China.
Was it?
No, they didn't sell to China.
Who did they sell it to?
GlaxoSmithKline.
Big Pharma.
Ooh, that's even scarier. And who do they sell it to? They could sell it to anybody else too, right?
It says 23andMe sells anonymous DNA data to a drug company for $20 million. That's not even that much.
Oh,
it's not
just
that
anonymous,
much.
Guys. It's anonymous.
Yeah, of course.
Guys.
Of course.
Wasn't there one with China though, with Ancestry? Yeah, this is 23andMe.
No, this is Ancestry also.
This is Ancestry as well? Interesting.
$20 million.
I remember something about China.
I mean, I just typed in data sold, and that's what comes up.
I might be on the wrong forums, though. I might be on some conspiratorial forums. I might have gone too deep on the JFK rabbit hole the other night.
This is what you said.
Oh, okay, China. There it goes. Groundbreaking move that has sent shockwaves through the biotech industry. 23andMe, the leading personal genomics and biotechnology company, has officially announced the sale of its entire DNA database to the Chinese government for an astonishing $10 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the one I was looking for.
I'll just add that that's only coming from a Medium article, not any other articles that are saying that.
Jamie, why do you gotta fuck it up with facts?
I'm just trying to understand what's happening. I don't know.
Jamie is on it.
Why you gotta fuck it up with facts? Yeah, who knows? But your data is extremely valuable.
Yeah.
That's weird, and it's also valuable to humans. It's humans selling other humans' data.
Yeah.
Whether you call them Facebook or Google or the DEA or the it's just a bunch of people. And if they don't have to follow the same rules that you follow, then we have real problems. And when you have entire groups of people that are dependent upon technology that's controlled almost entirely by one ideology, and then you let the government get involved like they did with Twitter, and you see with the Twitter files, you're like, oh, Jesus, like this is bad.
Right.
Like you let the government have a back door, and they started sneaking around and telling you what to do and what not to do, and you were complying?
Right.
People
Right.
were telling other people that they couldn't have experts from Harvard and Stanford talk about medical problems.
Yes.
You got to stop this. Stop
Yes.
those experts from talking. Remove those posts. Ban those people. Like the government is saying that.
Exactly. Exactly. And
yeah.
even if they're not saying, "Hey, do this or else," even if they're not making an explicit threat,
just the fact you're getting requests from the government.
Exactly.
To do
like
something
what
about
would you like? What are you gonna do? The FBI is calling and saying like, "Hey, we'd really like you to do X, Y, or Z." In my mind, I'd be like, "Okay, like." What am I going to be investigated for outside of this if I say no?
Yep, exactly. People do not want to mess around. And the sad thing is that means that they'll compromise and they'll sell you out and they'll sell out your data. Guys, get off of these social medias if you can. I mean, seriously, like, and at least set the boundaries for your children, for your grandchildren, you know, cousins, nieces, nephews, everything like that, to where they know what they're getting themselves into. This information has to be, you know, getting out there. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.